Hello and welcome to part 8 of Lazy Guy's Guide. So it is time for us to now go and kill Pontiff Sulyvahn. So this boss is probably the worst, the hardest boss for new players. As I said in the last part, this boss, the first time that I played, made me rage uninstall. Like, I went past rage quitting. Blocking and circling will work well in the first phase. In the second phase, you need to basically keep your distance and pick your fights very well. Like, you cannot continuously swing. You have to be careful. My recommendation is to try and nuke the clone as fast as possible and then deal with him. But with that being said, let's enjoy the fight. Very small note about this boss: if you manage to keep the fight on these little stairs, sometimes the boss will whiff his shots because of the difference in elevation. So if you manage to keep the fight on those stairs, you have a high chance of him taking a swing and the swing going above your head because of the difference in elevation. And just like that, the boss is dead. It was quite easy with a +9 claymore. Anyway, now we don't have anything else to do, but just push forward towards the next boss. And that is exactly what we're going to do now. This next portion of the game is filled with enemies, and quite honestly, there isn't quite enough good reasons for you to tackle them. The only item that you could get potentially is right here, where I'm taking you right now. It's a ring which boosts your dark defenses, but you don't have to take it. It's not that important. Moving on from here, we go out into this plateau. There will be a couple of giants which will wake up, and you will be charged down by 2 NPCs, but the NPCs are stupid and the giants are slow, so if you want to fight them, you can fight them, but you don't have to. Progression is on the other side of this plateau through those stairs, and that's where we are going right now. In this little hallway there is a hidden area which has a bonfire down below and a covenant, a PvP covenant that is, but in my opinion it's one of the biggest traps in the history of Dark Souls. So down below there lurks 2 giant lizards which are more powerful than the one that we already dealt with, and in my opinion, it's not worth going down there. Simply put. I mean, if you want the XR challenge, go for it, but we don't care about that. Now we find ourselves on the outskirts of Anor Londo. If you played Dark Souls 1, yet again, this place will be a throwback for you. It's filled with silver knights, which shoot great bows at you. Some of them might even chase you with sword and shield, but luckily for us, I'm Lazy Guy, and I will show you how to run past this whole area. the statue that you're seeing in the center right of your screen right now is another throwback for you Dark Souls 1 fans. That is the place where you fight Gwyndolin. So that is the place where you take on one of the optional boss fights. And it is used in Dark Souls 3 as well, but not for a boss fight. It's part of one of the stories which make off one of the endings. However, obtaining that particular ending is quite a lot of work to do, and we are not interested in that, so we'll just progress into Anor Londo. So in this rendition of Anor Londo there are 3 Silver Knights, which you can take them on one by one if you want, or my recommendation, just run past them. They will not chase you that far, and they don't pose that much of a threat. Unfortunately, this is the giant that served as a blacksmith in Dark Souls 1. He is now dead, unfortunately. He fell prey to Aldrich, the boss that we are going to tackle in just a few minutes. In the cathedral itself, there will be some Deacons of the Deep, which are disciples of Aldrich, who guard the boss. However, their attacks are very slow, and you can just run past them. Inside the cathedral, there is an Estus shard, right in this chest. It's very easy to miss because it's dark in here, so watch out. Then you have a lever that you need to push in order to open the shortcut, and that spider cat thing, which is quite scary to be honest, but if you manage to kill it, you get quite an interesting ring, which heals you whenever you do critical strikes. So whenever you take a riposte or a backstab, that ring will heal you. In my opinion, this one enemy is more difficult than most bosses in this game. And the main danger of this boss is not the did I call it boss? This enemy is not damage itself, but yeah, exactly what happened here, curse. So this enemy, with every single thing that it hits you, it builds up curse, and when it builds up, you're dead. So be on the lookout. Try to, if you get hit, make sure to decrease your curse meter and only take swings when you know you're not going to die from the curse. The boss we're about to encounter is unfortunately one of the most random bosses in this game. So he has a multitude of attacks, magic attacks, swings, and some of them are simply worse to deal with than the others. So I cannot really give you a recipe for this boss. You have to dodge the attacks and then try to close the distance before he teleports out to another place. This is where I always have trouble. I usually die, but fortunately for us, the run to this boss is quite easy. You only have to dribble a couple of enemies and you're in the boss fight. I've noticed that what works best on this boss is try and stay close and give the boss the chance to use melee attacks. Because whenever he does melee attacks, it's very easy to punish him. The trouble starts in phase 2 when he starts spamming basically spells, and it gets messy. That's all that I can say. It gets messy. In the second phase, he's resistant to fire, so if you're using fire weapons or fire infusions, consider switching them at this point in time. And good luck with this boss. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention is that if you manage to hit the head, so the human form on top of Aldrich, that will yield bonus damage. Now that Aldrich is dead, don't forget to go upstairs and pick up your healing ring from Guinevere's room. If you play Dark Souls 1, you'll know who that is. And after that, we will go on to fight Yorm, the giant. So, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next part. See ya.